Hello, this is your Big Six lesson introduction, graphics and information by Katie Ely, Amy McCluskey, Rachel Wicks, and it was narrated by me. The lesson of this, the purpose is we are your hero guides to research. You are going to know how to research. You're going to find those sources, make sure they're credible, and what's going to be about myths and legends. Maybe we could do their characteristics, but you're going to find what's right for you. And we're going to conduct this research by using the Big Six process. For your final product, you will create a presentation of your choosing to share all this fun stuff. You are going to love it. So the standards, you're looking at this going, what? No, all this means is we have guidelines to go by, and you are going to learn how to research. You're going to analyze it, and you're going to create it, and you're going to use different ways of synthesizing it and putting it all together. That's all that means. Now, what is the Big Six, you're asking? Well, I'm going to tell you. It is defining what you need to do, using those strategies to locate information, putting it all together. Does it make sense? Now, these are just 3 of the 6 strategies to use. So are you ready to discover the other 3 and become a hero? I know you are. Now, you are about to take a pretest. This is just to test your knowledge. It's to see where you're at. Do we need to step back and reteach some things because you don't know hardly anything? Or are you already a master in training? This is your pretest link. You're going to take it real quickly, and then we'll come back. So, the conclusion of part 1 is be a hero, not a zero. Know the Big Six on the researching, and we are going to be defining our task. You're going to use those strategies to locate it. We're going to put it all together. Does it make sense? And if it doesn't, go back and let's check. And we're going to start our Big Six hero quest. Now, this is the conclusion of our lesson. It's near the end. It's not the end. We still have a little bit more to cover. And as I said, this is Katie Ely, Mrs. Ely, Mrs. McCluskey, and myself, Mrs. Wicks. We are your guides to help you. The purpose of this lesson is to teach you to find the credible sources and reliable sources. It's to help you understand that big process. And for your final product, remember, we're going to create something fun. Now, your sources. We have many online sources. These are just what I think are the best. You have this video, which is the Big Six process itself. So if you forget what I'm telling you, you can go back and click on it. This is a video on how to evaluate a news article. This one is it reliable? Is it credible? It'll teach you that. If you are brainstorming and you get stuck in the mud and you can't figure it out, this is going to help you figure it out. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Here's another cool little website that will review and give you some more information about the Big Six. Here is your handout. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to go over it. Don't worry. And here are some tips that you're going to use when you're using Mackin. So are you ready to start cracking? Let's get going. So we are on Mackin, and here are your different resources. You can use Gale in this case, and you could use your literature because we know myth stories. It's literature that's been written down and it's been passed down orally. If we are doing this, you can browse your topics. You have a person search, a work search. You even have search history. If we type in the word myths, you get myths, but it's not exactly Greek myths. Look at that. Check. Myths. Type in the words myths and Greek. It's going to be myths and Greek. Look at that. 15 Greek and Roman myths. All that. But what if we want to change it up and go Greek myths and gods? Boom, gods and heroes. And you can learn about the characteristics. So step 1, we got to identify that task, identify your info, and we're going to be using the strategies to select the best sources. Some of these might be the best sources for you. Some might not. So are you ready to go? We're going to check out another source that might be a better source for you. So I'm back on our Gale. I'm going to click on elementary. You ready? So it's coming up, it's pulling up. There we go. We're already on topics, or we could go to books, go to news, go to pictures, and they say pictures are worth 1,000 words. But we are going back to topic because right now our best source is going to be a topic. We need to find it. Then we can use other things to help us. Now, where is it? Oh, there's literature. Let's check on that. Location, location, location. We're going to find that information within the source. That is step 3. So literary genres. Here we go. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Look, we have Greek mythology, and we are going to learn about Greek mythology. We could keep reading. We could browse our topics, do our search history, but we have to decide what we're looking at. So when you decide, that's when you're picking it out, you're choosing it, you're picking it apart, and you're deciding, is it relevant? Well, right now, this just isn't really relevant. I mean, it has some Zeus, has some Greek mythology right there, book articles, magazines. There's your pictures, but it's not for us. Because what if you didn't want to learn this broad topic on Greek mythology? What if you wanted to learn a specific god? Well, that might be more relevant to you because you might want to be studying about Greek gods and their characteristics, and Zeus is one of them. So there's your books, there's your magazines, there's your news. See that? Burgundy's backed by the beard of Zeus. There's your pictures. Now, if you find something that you really, really like, you could use the encyclopedia right here. It's electronic, so it's internet-based, or this, fables and legends. Now, what if you really, really like this use of it, and you want this particular information, and this is relevant? Well, you can get the link for it. You can cite it, because you might find a word that, or a sentence or a phrase that you like and you don't know how to reword it yourself. Look at the different formats. It'll cite that information. You could send it in an email. You can highlight and make notes. And that goes to putting it together. How are you going to put this information together? And that's very important because that's going to be putting, that's part of your product. Are you using note cards? Are you using outlines? And when you do have it together, how are you going to evaluate it? How are you going to decide you did a good job? Well, let's take a look. So using our big 6 research steps. Step 1, what are you researching? You got to identify it. You need to get the basic information. Put it in your own words. You don't want to use someone else's words. You are too smart for that. Step 2, make a list of possible sources. Don't think you can keep it in your brain, because I know I forget things and I have to make lists. So make a list. Did you use an article? Did you use a web source? Did you use a book? Did you use an ebook? Make those sources. Make sure you also cite that information of where you located it. Step 3, I just mentioned it. Location, location, location. Where did you find it? Write it down. And, it's important to know where you found your information. Because some of those places, they're not credible. They're not reliable. So you might need to go back and find it. And use of your information. When you were looking at those websites or those books, did you look for keywords? Did you look at pictures? Did you take notes? Did you notate it like it showed on that website? And I've said this before. Did you cite it? Very, very important. Step 5, we were so close. Synthesizing. That's when you are choosing your format. are you going to make a diorama? Okay, if you decide not to make a diorama, are you going to make a Trojan horse? Okay. What about a travel brochure? What about using Canva? What about making a movie? All of those are putting it together and synthesizing. It's organizing it. And you could be as creative as you want. Now, final step, evaluation. Did you meet the objectives? Did you meet the rubric? Conclusion, you are a hero in training. Use the Big Six to conquer it. Use your strategies. Define, seek, locate. Use, synthesize, and evaluate. Are you ready? I know you're ready. You can do it. You are almost there and you are ready to conquer the world. So go use your Big Six strategies to research and have fun.